The NBA All-Star Game has gone and went. I mean, personally for me, another meh. I could do without. Team Giannis ends up winning 184 to 175 against Team LeBron. Jason Tatum, 55 points, which I believe is in-game record there for the All-Star Game as far as most points being scored. Outside of that, I don't know what to tell you, which I already, haven't said already. The fact that there's a picture floating around that's going viral on the internet in regards to the game that 8 of the 10 players on the court have moved out the way so 2 of them can go one-on-one. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Like, why should I entertain this? Like, what is the point? Like, no one cares anymore. So why should I? So I'll leave it at that. Moving on with more NBA stuff. As I mentioned before, the buyout market in years past has definitely been more lucrative than the actual NBA trade deadline. Now, this past trade deadline was actually, very entertaining. Very entertaining. 28 out of 30 teams made trades. The 2 teams that didn't, one is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, they didn't really have to, do anything per se. They're already a top 4 team in the East. The other team is, you guessed it, my Chicago Bulls, who Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner, needs to really sell the team, them and the Sox. But that's a story for another day. Now, as far as this buyout market, I mean, we've had 3 players recently who made some moves here. Kevin Love being bought out by the Cavs and joining the Miami Heat. That is a low-key, sneaky good move by the Miami Heat. Miami's have always been a very solid team. I would call them a B-plus team all the way around. They have role players galore. They have elite role players. How about that? Elite role players. They have a star in Jimmy Butler. They have a halfway star in Bam Adebayo. And you have elite role players everywhere else. What the Miami Heat are lacking is size. And yes, Kevin Love at 6'9", 6'10" does not give you really much more height in that regard. But Kevin Love gives you another big body down there who is an excellent rebounder still, who can stretch the floor a little bit, who can be pretty productive on offense for that team. Where at times, there's a lack of scoring. Tyler Hero, I mean, he's pretty good at scoring the ball. But as we saw last year, when he was hurt, that was it. They didn't really have too much scoring. I mean, Jimmy can only do so much. Outside of that, there wasn't any consistency when it comes to scoring the ball. So they lacked that. So I would imagine Kevin Love and his championship pedigree, he's actually getting his jersey retired in Cleveland. I mean, Kevin Love's been there before. He knows what it takes to get it done. So now he has an opportunity to actually play a bigger role and potentially get it done. Because remember, it's not like the Cavs were bad. They were actually good. But when you have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and plenty of other young talent there, it's like, yeah, Kevin Love's not going to get too many minutes. That's just the nature of it. It's called life. It happens. So yeah. That Kevin Love to the Heat, I really like that move for them. Now, I recently talked about Russell Westbrook maybe joining my team. And of course not. That didn't happen. But I am happy to hear he is going to the team that actually probably makes the most sense for him as far as winning. And that's the Los Angeles Clippers. He reunites with Paul George. They desperately need a point guard. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be scary. I firmly believe Russell Westbrook is about to live his best life in LA, in the other locker room. I do. It's not like everything has to be done on Russ, but Russ probably brings something that they're missing. Intensity. Passion. They need that. They really do. And someone with a high motor like that, along with Paul George, along with Kawhi Leonard, that could cause problems. Now, the Clippers have been the one team I feel like, when healthy, because, everything is always if with health, but when healthy, that team can still cause problems for the top teams in the West. Yeah, even the Phoenix Suns, the newly acquired Kevin Durant Phoenix Suns, can still have fits with this Los Angeles Clippers team. The top record in the Denver Nuggets can still have fits with this Los Angeles Clippers team. They can. And you bring in Russell Westbrook, whose character has been, criticized and abused and slandered for his time with the Lakers, blaming everything on Russ. Like the Lakers being 13th in the West is all him. Like Anthony Davis couldn't stay healthy. Like LeBron James didn't make bad decisions with the team like everybody else. Darvin Ham didn't put this team, but everything falls on Russ, right? No. And there's a lot of real people out there that firmly understands that Russ, who is not perfect, was dealt a bad hand. Firmly believe that he was dealt a bad hand. I'm one of those people. Now, I know Russell Westbrook is nowhere near the MVP player he was a few years ago. Nowhere near. I understand he's probably taking a couple steps back as far as athleticism and his skill. But, once again, high motor, passion, determination, intangibles, along with what he can still do with his high motor and athleticism. I believe it. I believe the Clippers are going to be a force. If healthy. And so it goes to the third person that I have to bring up here. Because, we didn't get the big star in Westbrook. But my team, my Bulls, actually made a move. We have a player. Better yet, we have a point guard. We do. He brings passion and ferocity and just annoyance to other teams. He's made his career like this. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bulls has signed Patrick Beverly as the quote-unquote savior for our Bulls this season. Round of applause to Patrick Beverly. No, I get it. So, it's not all the way terrible. It's not. Because Patrick, believe it or not, he does play defense. He does bring a little bit of three-point shooting. Not much, but better than what we have. We have none. So something plus nothing equals something. So we have something in that regard. We have somebody that's going to be scrappy. We have somebody that's, that's been around. He's from Chicago. So, that's always a factor. So So now the Bulls have two guards from Chicago, Patrick Beverly now and Ayo Dosunmu. It doesn't move the needle. I don't believe he's a floor general. I don't think he's that good at setting up the offense. We'll see. We'll see. Because what he did with the Timberwolves in his time, that helped. I firmly believe the Timberwolves would not have made the playoffs without Patrick Beverly. They wouldn't. He meant everything to that locker room. He really did. Maybe Pat Bev, does make more of an impact than I thought. This would limit Zach LaVine having the ball all the time and turning over the ball. Maybe the offense can, function a little bit more smoothly. Maybe the actual perimeter defense can get better, and we can actually stop somebody. Beverly out there with Caruso, for spans, periods at a time. Why not? What we got to lose at this point? So yeah, we end up with the consolation prize of Patrick Beverly. Russell Westbrook ends up in LA in the other locker room with the Los Angeles Clippers. Kevin Love is taking his talents to South Beach, like his friend LeBron James did about 12 and a half, 13 years ago now. So yeah, man, that's the buyout market right now. And then quickly, just want to pivot over to the NFL. Once again, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. Two things I want to go with this, and then we're gonna, keep it moving another day. Eric Bieniemy, who is now a two-time Super Bowl champion as an offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, who has probably had something to do with Patrick Mahomes' development. Yada, yada, yada. As we know, he cannot get a head coaching job, and it is the most head-scratching thing ever. He's been trying year after year after year, and nothing has shaked. So therefore, he becomes now the new offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. The fact that he has to get up out of quote-unquote Andy Reid's shadow to go somewhere else to prove that he can actually do this is absurd. It is insane. It is ridiculous. It is any adjective that's similar to the ones that are synonyms to anything I just said is very appropriate right now. Why does someone of his pedigree and his accomplishments got to go through another phase of proving themselves when guys who have done a lot less and have accomplished a lot less in the league getting head coaching jobs? Huh? Right is Frank Wright, the new head coach of the Carolina Panthers. When the last time we saw him, the Colts were at disarray, and he got dismissed in the middle of the year. Explain that one for me. Now, I can go on and on and on. I'm not. But I just know, what is the phrase, the new phrase now? The math isn't mathing. It's just not adding up to me. And I love math. Math is one of my favorite subjects. My wife and my kids look at me sideways. I don't care. But if something's not adding up, then usually go back and figure out what's the issue. So it can add up. It makes sense. This one doesn't. But nevertheless, if this is the path that he has to choose to get to where he needs to be, based on, these circumstances, and so be it, and I wish him the best of luck in Washington. Good luck. Seriously, Bieniemy. All right, and then the last thing here is, the GOAT topic. Brady, 7 championships, did his thing. Patrick Mahomes here. He's entering new territory. And so, there have been plenty of graphics lately between the two. And more so what Brady and Mahomes, has done by the age of 27. Brady at the time, he had no MVPs. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. No first-team All-Pros. he had 3 Super Bowls. Well, I guess he been to 3 Super Bowls. He only won 2. His regular season record was 48 wins, 14 losses. He had 98 regular season passing touchdowns. And as far as the yards, he had 13,925 yards passing in his regular season career. That's impressive. Very impressive. Now, let me tell you about, what has transpired with Mahomes here. Since the NFL is vastly different in the last, 15 years or so. Remember, Mahomes, 27. He has 2 MVPs. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro. He's been to 2. I'm sorry. Brady has won 3 Super Bowls, but he had 2 Super Bowl MVPs. That makes sense because one of them went to Deion Branch at the time. That makes sense. So then, Mahomes won 2 Super Bowls, and he is a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Regular season record is 64 wins and 16 losses. He has 192 passing touchdowns in the regular season. So that is, if my math is mathing, 95 more than what Brady had. And his passing yards is 24,241 in the regular season. So the last 2 stats definitely show how different the NFL is. More so importantly, how different, their offenses are from what Brady had in their philosophy with Bill Belichick as opposed to, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Big difference. But yeah, to have 2 MVPs, be a 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro, and 2 Super Bowl MVPs by the age of 27 is absolutely insane. So the question I would leave to you all is, if Patrick Mahomes was to retire right now, would he be a first ballot Hall of Famer? And I'm going to ask this question in our Facebook group because I'm curious. Will Patrick Mahomes, would he be a first ballot Hall of Famer if he retired today based on these accolades and accomplishments already? That's the question I'm going to leave with you. So continue to rock with your boy right here on the No Offense Radio and the No Offense Network. Check me out on social media at JGoodWithSports, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Continue to rock with this podcast here, the JGoodWithSports podcast. Thursday, if I can get some answers here, maybe we'll get more into it. Once again, March Madness is coming. Your boy has another tournament challenge here. I am slacking on my graphic with that, so I'm gonna have to get that up immediately. But nevertheless, you'll have details very soon on that. But until next time, you all be safe, enjoy, stay warm. Peace.